This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to call the Site Plan Review Committee to order for Tuesday, December 5th. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kadowski,
Here.
Gary Paul,
Here.
Dennis Persick,
Here.
Gail Quinn,
Here.
Carrie Rathburn,
Here.
and Pampern and Kurowski are excused.
Please stand for the pledge. And please remember our men and women throughout the world in uniform. I have no changes to the agenda. I need a motion to approve.
Move. Approve. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 5, action on the minutes of the site plan review meeting of November 7th, 2023.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 6A, action item, consider, discuss, act on a site plan review request by Mach 4 Engineering and Surveying for a proposed new Bergstrom Hyundai dealership located at 2800 Ramada Way, parcel VA-178-30. Aaron.
All right, thank you. Let me just share my screen here and I'll bring up the site plan. All right, there it is. For those of us who have been around a while, this is the former Saturn dealership, going back a ways. Most recently, the Express Cars by Bergstrom dealership. They are proposing to demolish the existing building and build a new building on the site to house the new Hyundai dealership. The property itself, again, is currently used for vehicle sales. It has a conditional use permit for vehicle sales under the B3 Community Business Zoning District and is therefore a permitted use or a conditional use which is approved with, for that property. In terms of the new site plan, as you can see on screen, there are proposed 2 driveway access points on Ramada Way, similar to what is there right now. They're going to maintain the wet detention pond along Ramada Way right here. And there currently is a dry detention pond in this area, which will be replaced with underground storage to maintain stormwater management purposes. Green space on the site will still maintain the 25% minimum in the B3 zoning district. The parking lot itself does include curbing as required under our code. A couple items of note. There is, on the photometric plan, it does show some lighting that exceeds the property boundaries. However, it is actually the same as what is there currently. I did have a conversation with the architect on that. So the light trespass is no more than what is currently there right now. So therefore, that's not an issue. A couple items, also items of note, is that we do a few items to take a look at a little bit. One of which is street orientation. In terms of our code, we do require the primary entrance to be located parallel to the primary street, unless there's a situation where due to the environmental features, the parcel, so on and so forth, it's just not practical for it to be located in such a manner. In this case, the primary entrance will be located to the south of the property, or facing south. As I did talk with the architect about that, it's just the building itself does not fit if you try to turn it 90 degrees such that it faces Ramada Way. Just practically it doesn't work. In that situation, what we do require is a direct pedestrian access from Ramada Way to the primary entrance. As you're aware, there are no sidewalks on Ramada Way, so therefore the sidewalk wouldn't make a whole lot of sense at this time. So there's a recommended condition of approval is that should sidewalks be installed on Ramada Way, that at that point in time that sidewalk be extended from the primary entrance to Ramada Way. Okay. One other item in landscaping, we do typically require screening, vegetative screening when there is parking up against the street. It's a car dealership. Certainly they don't want too much vegetation in front of their vehicles they're trying to sell. So I would recommend not including that including that as an exception to the site plan. In terms of the building itself, meets our requirements in terms of split-face concrete masonry unit, metal wall panel, precast concrete wall panels, and aluminum window systems. They already use fully concealed fasteners, include a minimum 3-foot masonry wainscot to protect the wall panel from vehicle damage. Any rooftop mechanical units visible from Ramada Way, right-of-way, or property boundaries, again, are to be screened. I-41 does not come into play at that because, of course, it is elevated, and trying to screen those from an elevated highway just isn't practical. In terms of recommended conditions of approval, just a few of them. Again, the first one, I'll talk about this revised lighting plan. That has been addressed because there's no more than currently exists on site. Screen any rooftop or ground-mounted mechanical units visible from the property boundaries or Ramada Way right-of-way. Allowing exceptions to permit street front parking and not requiring parking lot screening for a car dealership. Use of fully concealed fasteners for exterior wall panels. Identify a future direct pedestrian walkway from Ramada Way to the primary building entrance on the site plan for if and when sidewalk is installed on Ramada Way. Meet all applicable requirements of the Ashwaubenon site plan review, all their applicable village ordinances. Just a couple notes from engineering. Utilizing the existing driveways and utility laterals from stormwater management. Utilizing the existing wet pond plus underground storage to meet the requirements. From public safety. Coordinate with the Ashwaubenon Public Safety regarding Knox box and fire department connection. That should be locations. No comments from forestry, and from bike and pads, just a note that the proposed bicycle parking is to meet the design standards of the Association of Pedestrian and Bicycle Professionals. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, we do the architect online, and we also have the engineer here in the audience.
Any questions?
One comment or question I have, being an automobile dealership and who's building it, they've done a nice job on Holgram here. Where are they going to unload cars? It can't be permitted on street. Is there room for that?
I guess I'll probably defer to Joel or Kelly on that as far as unloading of cars. If you wouldn't just come up, here.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Joel Airforth, Mach 4 Engineering, 2260 South Striker Court. There is enough room in the internal parking areas that they can unload cars.
They can't unload
Yeah.
on the property, all right.
Yes, the intent is not to unload on the street. They'll have room. They'll bring them into the on-site, onto the facility.
Okay. Plenty of parking room. I don't find a number here on how many parking stalls you have.
Yeah, the parking is adequate. There's certainly more than actually for what they'd have based
It
upon.
seems small to me for a car dealership, that's why I'm asking.
Yep, there's plenty of room.
There is, okay. All right, I don't have any problem. Guys do a good job on building a nice piece of property. If there's no other questions, I'll move to approve the site plan for 2800 Ramada Way
With staff
with
conditions?
staff conditions.
Okay. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second, yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments?
Other than that, based on the building currently on Holmgren, if it looks that good, they've done themselves proud. It looks really nice. I'm looking forward to this being just as nice.
I think 3 times is a charm.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve with staff conditions. Are there any other comments, conditions, concerns? Nope. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thanks, Joel.
Number 7, department reports. Aaron.
We are still recruiting for a commercial plumbing inspector. So if you know any master plumbers out there who are interested in getting out of the field work before winter, have them contact me. We're certainly willing to train and bring someone up to speed on all of the necessary credentialing for the position.
Okay, items for next agenda.
We do have items for next agenda. I was hoping to give you a little holiday break, but we will have items for the 19th.
Okay. Okay, and next one is Motion to adjourn, please.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.